All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and every month we like to do this kind of video. It's called window shopping. So basically the concept of it is we look at the central market and I tell you all the important items or the things that I think are notable and whether it's worth buying or making it yourself. And generally, most things are worth just buying off the market, skip the whole RNG process. But there are some items we like to look at the trends and see if the price increased or decreased from last month. So you can watch the May episode as well on the channel and the previous ones. So yeah, let's just see where all the prices gone in 1 month. So yeah, let's see. With the new Wusa Awakening that came out, I assume the price of that weapon in particular is going to be higher than the usual, but everything else might be up or down a few billion. So let's look at Black Stars and all this stuff. And actually, let's look at the new one. Well, that's Awakening later. But I assume more people might be coming back to Wusa just because like it's got an Awakening now. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. For the Tet version, it's around 14.5 up to 15. So last month it was roughly 15 to it actually went down over the course of a month, but realistically this graph right here is not super accurate because there's not a lot of them that actually sell per month. I'm sure there's like maybe 10-20 of them that sell per month, and so like the price itself hasn't really moved up and down too much. The minimum changed. So I think overall, if we looked at last month's to this month's, it was like around 14 average, and then it's probably up a little bit. So more or less the same within one build change, and so I think that's okay. And let's look at some other classes as well, just to look at the non like news thing that came out. So let's look at DKs, for example. Yeah, I bet like with other classes you'll see some at like hard minimum and whatnot. So for the most part, Black Stars stayed the same. For all of you who are new to the game and or like intermediate players, you're probably looking at Zarkas. And I've always wanted to talk about this in terms of, is it worth buying? So I have a video on the channel doing the Jetina's guaranteed pen quest. I showed you how to do it, all the materials needed to get it, and how to get all those materials. So if you just want to find it, it's called like a full Jetina's quest line to get a guaranteed pen or something. You can find it on the channel, just search for it. And so I showed you basically step by step how to do it. And if it's your first weapon from Jetina's guaranteed, I believe it's around like 6 to 6.5 billion to get your first weapon. So I wouldn't really recommend getting the main hand from Jetina, because it's probably cheaper to just buy it off the market. And then afterwards, like if it's your second or third one, it's not even worth that. So it's probably not worth it. Just get your Awakening weapon and then maybe the Offhand, and then just go to armors. So a lot of people always ask, is it worth getting Offhand? And the answer 99% of the time is generally no. There is a small bracket within like the 261 to like 265 or 269 bracket, where up until you can get that number with Zarka, it is better to use an Offhand. But most people nowadays just blaze through that gear score number, so that's why it's no. The reason why people don't use Offhands as much is because it has less accuracy. And if you look at some things that we'll talk about later in accessories, the amount of accuracy you give up, so like let's look at this, it's 182 accuracy with a little bit of extra AP. If we look at Zarka, for example, you have 200 and you just get a little bit less AP. So the accuracy is actually worth a lot more, and you'll notice that later on. So if you do PvP a lot, you're gonna notice the accuracy. So that's why it's generally recommended for all classes just not to get it. So there is a small gap that it is better than Zarka, but like you're gonna blaze through that AP requirement super quickly to the point where I think it's better to just hold off on your money and buy a Black Star or stay with Zarka for a while. So next I want to look at awakening weapons, and let's look at the new one with the Soul Tome. And yeah, so let's see. Let's look at the dandelion prices. 7 bill. There's orders on it. Let's talk about this. Do the Jetina's quest. If you haven't already, get your dandelion first, and then it's 6.5 bill to do the entire thing and just get all the materials. So if you're the person who has any of these orders above 6.5, just take them off, do the quest. If you've done it already, then it's probably fine to keep the order on. Let's see. A hard minimum. It's only been 1 week. Actually, it's only been 3 days since it came out. And so we'll see them at 15.1 minimum. There's only 2 of them. Let's look at a new thing that came out. I don't really know why, but Black Stars right now are at an all-time high. And, well, I guess since March that was. But like right now, if you're trying to enhance a profit, this is the way to do it. And I've always said it, if you're trying to enhance a Black Star for profit, the best one to do is always Awakening, because those just sell for more than the main hand and offhand. So right now, I assume that if you're trying to sell anything but a Wusa one, you can probably get a decent amount for it. Maybe not that, but just look at the one that you think might be important and then enhance that one and do it. It's really easy. Just look at it, find out which one. There's a lot of these. It's probably minumed. Yep. So either way, it doesn't really matter. It'll probably sell eventually. And just get the one that you think is like harder to get. So like right now would be DK's, but in an hour from now, it's probably not going to be that way. So, Awakening Black Stars, all-time high right now. All right, let's look at this Megu. Look at the offhands. So with the recent patch, like a month and a half ago or something, maybe last month, Awakening weapons, or not Awakening, offhands got buffed. So back, remember when all the green weapons were like best in slot, the Black Stars were something that people would just not get, because it's like the green weapons were 3 billion, 10 Black Stars were 130 billion, and the green ones outperformed it. Ever since the change, now Black Star offhands are now best in slot for PvE, and so I assume the price may or may not have went up a little bit. So I don't really see these being sold a lot, because like if you're trying to enhance one to pen, like chances are you're using it for yourself. And if you're trying to enhance for profit, you're making the Awakening weapon. So if that makes sense, so that's why. Yeah, no change. Like just enhance the Awakening weapon if you're going for profit. All right, so let's look at armors, because we all know that the gloves are coming out soon, the Dan's gloves, and it's basically the equivalent of a Fallen God or Labresca, but the gloves version coming out in the middle of this month, so I think 2 weeks from now. And we're going to be doing the quest line for that, as well as enhancing it, so hopefully you guys are going to stick around for that video as well. And yeah, we'll just be doing a big enhancing video when that comes out. So, let's see what's happening. Accuracy and evasion. You probably have one of these two. Let's see how much these cost. 13.5 billion, maybe 14 billion. Yeah, let's just say 14 on average to make the easier number. 14 billion for a pen bags, and Libers is just going down. Evasion players in shambles. Actually, no, evasion is really good. It's just one of those things where if you have to ask when it's good to convert to evasion, probably not there yet. It's just a good rule of thumb. You would know when you're there. And there's no like strict number on when to actually convert from DR to evasion. It's just more of the one of those I feel tankier and I feel like it's more useful. Obviously, more evasion better, and less evasion worse. So that's why accuracy accessories are very expensive, and something you should think about getting as well. So right now, I would say I guess like 90-80% of players probably are going to be running DR, myself included. Just because I also play a class that isn't evasion focused. So that's why it's more expensive, and it reflects that on the market. Let's actually see. And well, the price is going down a little bit. I have a feeling that in 2 weeks from now, the price of these are going to go up a little bit, just because everyone's going to start making the new gloves. And one thing is that with the new dance gloves, there's 2 different versions. So, for example, we have one type of Fallen God and one type of Labresca. But once we get to the new piece, there's going to be the accuracy and evasion version. So there's a good reason for people to actually have 2 of them. And yeah, I assume that's why it's going to go up. So we have our thing ready to go for whenever it comes out, more or less. All you need is Capris 10 at pen. And so we're going to have like 6 levels of extra Capra stones, which is pretty nice. And then everything else. Let's talk about helmets and armors. So, quickly, I will run down what I think is better. So, if you're a new player, you're probably wondering, Gaiath or Griffin? Get Griffin just because, or honestly, the end game goal is to get the Labresca, and you need Capris 10 at pen. And until then, I personally think that Griffin is better overall for everyone, because the difference is 100 HP from this one, or all resistance is 5%. And that 5% feels like more in terms of PvP than 100 extra HP into your HP pool. Does it really matter? Not really, but if you're trying to min-max, that 5% could mean not getting CC'd in the 1v1 and not getting deleted by another player. So technically better. Pen Griffin is currently 13 billion. It's at an all-time low right now. Cool. If you need it, you need it. I feel like for 12 bill, if you haven't already done the Magnus quest, it's probably worth doing. So basically the Magnus thing, I'll show you what it looks like. It's this thingy. Where's the box? The Wuju's gift for the traveler. Basically it gives you a guaranteed pen armor of your choice, and it's like a one-time family quest, and you can't trade it. It's not sellable. So get that. It's all good. I might actually use this for the new gloves as well. So like I have one ready to go, and I might get another Lieber's gloves and then slam that to, or just get that to pen, put pen Capris in. I don't know exactly how it's gonna work yet, but we'll figure it out on day 1. I'll make a video. You guys can watch it too. Good stuff. Before we head off to the other one, let's look at the price for this one, because Labresca is a different one, where I always think that if you're going for Tet Labresca, I think it's worth making it yourself than buying it. So this is usually the rare moments where I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can make it. And usually I don't say that, because I say buy everything. It's generally worth your time. However, if you look at the price gap, it's like 100 billion difference. And I believe the actual enhance rate from try to Tet at a 245 stack, that's what I hit mine on, is probably like a 5%. So I think on average, it is actually technically cheaper to make it yourself than it is if you're using like a decent proper stack. So if you are new and you don't know what to do, basically I start with like an 80 stack and then add like 40 to every tier up until like whaling, which is Tet, and then you just kind of use the highest stack you have because it is a very expensive item. So like 80 to 80 stack, you start there to pry, and then like 100. To be safe, I would do like 110 and up personally. So you probably have a ton of 100 stacks from all those rewards that they gave you. So choose that plus the 13s on Valk plus the free things you have like from the adventure journal. So probably like 115 for most people. And so 115 from Pride to Duo is a good starting stack. And then from Pride to Duo, yeah, that 115. And then from Duo to Try, I would probably use a 140 up to 200 stack for Try, that is, to get a silent. And then obviously 200 and up for whaling. I personally use 245s just because I just want it, and it's a very expensive item. It's more expensive than a Pen Black Star, so it's worth your money for using the highest stack. And of course, obliterating is just a meme, and if you get it, just don't sell it. Just keep it as an item, take a screenshot, post it on Reddit, farm karma. And so yeah, if you get a pen for some reason, just keep it. And honestly, I have the same theory for this one as well. So let's look at the Fallen God prices. It's slightly less than the Labresca because the Fallen God came out first and then Labresca second. So obviously over time things get cheaper. And so even at like 170, almost 180 billion, it's still worth making it yourself as well. So same fail stacks as Labresca. So you guys can watch my video if you want to see how exactly I did it, but like I just told you, 80 plus, 110 plus, 150 plus, 245. And this is actually where things change a little bit. And it is a difference. So before, back in the day, the reason why Dim Tree was more expensive was because they gave you extra 200 HP and the extra mana, willpower, special power, all that. It doesn't even matter anymore. We just have blue pots, red pots. And HP recovery used to be a meme. I still do think it's kind of a meme a little bit. And the difference is it costs more in terms of Capris. Like getting to Capris 10 has a higher number for the Dim Tree than it does for Red Nose. So your ultimate endgame goal is to get a Fallen God. So you want to get it to Capris 10 on Red Nose because you're saving like, I think at least 1 to 3 billion silver. I don't exactly remember the exact number, but it's not like, oh, it's just 100 mil. Nah, it's fine. It's actually like at least 1 billion. So just get Red Nose to C10, turn it into Fallen God, use the numbers I gave you before, and then we're good to go. Let's see. Uragons versus Muskins, DR versus Evasion. I'd like to think that DR is always more expensive, so we're climbing up 13 billion. And for Evasion, it is 2 billion less. Pretty standard. Evasion is technically cheaper because while I do think at very endgame, Evasion is technically better than DR, getting to that point is the hardest part. So, like, just because you have it or you see like another content creator, streamer, and they're like, oh, I have this, just make sure to look at what class they play and what their actual gear score is. So, yeah. Accessories. Let's just speed run through this one because I'm curious to know like what the prices are. So these are the accuracy accessories. I personally, I'm not sure how I feel about accuracy rings. If you're gonna go the accuracy route of like all the things, I think it's better to go for the necklace and the belt and then maybe the earrings, but I don't think giving up Tungrads or Eye of the Ruins for Ominous is really worth it. So like 18 AP at pen versus 21 or 20. So I don't know. I think like people actually calculated the value of it to the point where I think the rings are like the least valuable accuracy. So what you should do is, as a new player, I would get the pen crescent, do one from Jetina, and then pick one of these to get from your starter and then upgrade. Whether you value the health or the extra AP is up to you, but I would personally choose one of these two instead. And if you're going the accuracy route, save it for the other piece, which we'll talk about right now. So as we all know, Labresca for AP, best in slot. If you're going the AP route, or this is AP, Labresca, accuracy is the lunar, and this has a very good trade-off, and you're giving up like 4 AP, assuming you have like an ogre, not like a Labresca. If you have a Labresca, just use that one because that's a lot of AP and kind of expensive. It's also a little bit cheaper. So we were talking about Ominous before, right? And those are 200. This is 165, which I think it's okay to use a Tet lunar if you obviously like the jump between 20 billion and 150 billion is kind of high. So I think using a Tet lunar is okay. The price just keeps going up because as the game goes on, people always get more gear. That's just across the board. Everyone, whether you're a new player or end game player, your gear just keeps getting higher. And so what that means is it's very hard to get more like people when they build evasion, it just gets higher, so accuracy becomes more important and everything. It's like a game of rock paper scissors where AP beats accuracy, accuracy beats evasion, evasion beats AP, kind of triangle. So it's whatever the meta is at that point, and just get what you think is good for your build. So that's about it. Other than that, Leighton and Ogre are the same. Tungrad is basically the same as these two, but give Black Spirit Rage. And just get the one that's the cheapest that you can find at the moment. River is kind of a meme. It's like the whole DP tank build. I've seen people use it. It's very hard to kill. They're rare, but you see them every now and then. Earrings. Distos or Vaha's Dawns are basically the same thing. Dawn earrings are the accuracy ones. I'm actually very curious. So Dawn earrings, you're trading up 4 for good 24 accuracy, 4 AP. Well, I guess maybe a little bit. So let's look at this one again. I know for Lunar, you're trading up 4 AP for, I think this is like 23 or something. It's a little bit different. So just calculate how much AP you're losing versus how much accuracy you're getting when it comes to these things, and obviously the price factors in. So at very end game, you're min-maxing these, but if you're just like mid-tier and like under 700 gear score, honestly, if you are under 700 gear score, I would just go all AP, and then what really matters just when you do like siege and everything, like more PvP stuff, and you kind of figure out what you need more. So it's just end game. But other than that, Distos or Vahas, just get one of those. I believe Distos are a little bit cheaper than Dawn or Vaha's Dawns. They're the exact same item. You know what's funny in this game? You can't even see earrings. I don't think you can see the actual earrings. So it's like, chances are you won't be using it the same way you'd use a weapon where you can actually see it in action. So let's get the one that's cheaper. It doesn't matter. See, what did we, last thing we talk about? Labresca is the AP version. Very hard to get, as usual. Churro Belt accuracy, and then entry level AP, HP survivability, and then Tungrad belts are, I don't know. I just can't recommend Tungrad belts to anyone anymore, because it's either you get the survivability or the budget version, accuracy or big AP. It's just like one of those four. It's not the extra tongue grad. It's not worth the price in my opinion. But I want to talk about this one. Turbo Belt, I think it's a very good trade-off. You are getting a good value for -3 AP. And the price, I mean, like all the pen accuracies are kind of the same price, more or less. I think the rings are the most expensive for some reason. I guess it's because people don't like grinding ominous rings. It's just grinding Thornwood is kind of a huge pain. So, yeah, in my opinion, if you're going the accuracy route, Lunar, which is the necklace, followed by belt, and then probably the earrings, and then rings would always be last for that. I think just going AP for rings is the best way to go. Other than that, that's about it. All the prices for alchemy stones are basically the same. Garmoth's still permanently sold out, the usual. Vel's Heart's also permanently sold out. All the relevant light stones, which are the offensive ones. Strike, there's so many, you can't buy them, you have to get lucky. Blade is a very important one as well that you also can't buy regularly. So that's about it. I think everything that matters is sold out. I don't really know what kind of defensive stones people use. I just put straight DR and it seems to be working fine. The relevant ones for life skillers are Fortune. Chances are if you put it in order on minimum, you can get it. Like someone is gonna just sell it for 500 million less. So if you're a life skiller and you know the combo for the Fortune Stone, get that one and put an order on very minimum. I would not spend the extra for it. Let's see. I don't actually really know the thing well enough for the full life stone ones, but obviously the price is big because of them. Mastery is a little bit of a tricky one for me, so I'm just gonna have to look at that. Other than that, iridescents have been going down in price, so generally most people don't need more than 2 of them. So if you get 2 of them, you're good to go. And I think that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed June's version of our window shopping series. If you did, drop a quick like on the video. I would appreciate it. I'd love to see you guys come back if you're new to the channel as well. And hopefully you guys will learn something. And we have a lot of other guides and stuff on the channel if you want to check it out. Check the link in the description to our 2023 Adventures playlist. Maybe you'll find a guide or something. And overall, if you want to join the Discord, I have a channel for all the guides that I made. Whether you're a new player or you're just looking to get better at the game, join the Discord. You'll find it somewhere. And yeah, everything is just like a help desk. If you have any questions and everything, join the Discord and I'm happy to help you. So with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.